While the world is filled with all sorts of people, there are certain types that stand out more than others. The Sigma male is a particularly intriguing creature, and one that doesn't seem to fit into any particular mold. They're the lone wolves, the outliers, and the ones who march to the beat of their own drum. While it can be difficult to pin down exactly what makes a Sigma male, there are certain things they definitely don't do. Here are 11 things Sigma males never do. 1. They know when to keep their mouth shut. Sometimes it's best to stay quiet. The silence can speak volumes without ever saying a word. Never assume that loud is strong and quiet is weak. No response is a response, and it's a powerful one. The Sigma male never says anything that might hurt someone's feelings or cause problems. He knows that sometimes it's better to stay quiet and let others talk. The Sigma male is the strong, silent type. He doesn't feel the need to fill every silence with meaningless chatter. He is comfortable with silence and knows how to use it to his advantage. They often use silence as a way to test others. By remaining silent, they see how the other person reacts. This is a great way to get to know someone because they are more likely to reveal their true thoughts and feelings when there is no pressure to speak. Sometimes it's really tough to keep our mouths shut. We want to speak our minds and be honest with our thoughts and feelings, especially when upset. By remaining calm and collected, he diffuses any potential conflict before it has a chance to start. While alpha males often need to be the center of attention, the Sigma male is content with being in the background. He loves observing others and what is going on around him. 2. They don't live for the weekend. Life is too short to wait for the weekend. While most people live for the weekend, the Sigma male lives for today. The average person uses the weekend as a time to party and let loose after a long week of work. Sigma sees this time as an opportunity to get ahead. While others are sleeping in, the Sigma is up early and taking advantage of the day. The early bird gets the worm, and he's not afraid to work for it. You might think the Sigma male is all work and no play, but that's not the case. He knows how to balance work and play. He doesn't let his work consume him, but he also doesn't waste his time on meaningless pursuits. Of course, he enjoys the occasional day off, but he doesn't let it dictate his life. 3. They don't try to be a know-it-all. You don't have to have all the answers. It's okay to be wrong sometimes. Sigma males are not afraid to admit when they don't know something. They know it's impossible to know everything, and they're not afraid to ask for help when needed. They are humble and teachable and understand that we can all learn from each other. Trying to act like you know everything is a surefire way to end up looking like a fool. We often see people trying to act like they know more than they actually do. They make grandiose statements and try to sound smart, but in reality, they have no idea what they're talking about. This behavior is more common than you might think. People are afraid to admit when they don't know something, so they pretend like they do. But this only leads to embarrassment and frustration. There's no shame in admitting that you need assistance. Asking for help is a sign of strength, not weakness. When a Sigma meets someone new, he doesn't try to impress them with his knowledge. He's humble and curious, and he's more interested in learning about the other person than he is in impressing them. This makes him more likable and approachable. People are drawn to his sincerity and openness, and they're more likely to want to be around him. 4. They never try to please everyone. You can't make everyone happy, and you'll only end up disappointing yourself in the process. Sigma males are not people pleasers. They don't do it because they know that it's impossible to please everyone all of the time. This doesn't mean that Sigmas are rude or inconsiderate. They just don't waste their time trying to sugarcoat things or make everyone happy. They don't worry about what other people think of them, and they're not afraid to speak their minds. This allows them to be authentic and honest with the people around them. It's easy to get caught up in other people's opinions. We compare ourselves to others and try to imitate their success. But this not only leads to feelings of envy and resentment, but it also takes away from our own unique talents and abilities. Sigma men know they don't need to please everyone to be successful. They focus on their own goals and aspirations, and they let the haters hate. Your chosen path is yours alone, and no one else can walk it, and no one else can understand it. 5. They never allow themselves to be taken advantage of. While Sigma males are generous and helpful, they never allow themselves to be taken advantage of. They know their worth and will not tolerate being treated like a doormat. If someone tries to take advantage of them, they will quickly put an end to it. They will not allow themselves to be used or manipulated. There are a lot of people in this world who are experts at taking advantage of others. They are manipulative and self-serving, using anyone and everyone to get what they want. But Sigmas are not fools. They can spot a manipulator a mile away and will not tolerate being treated like pawns in someone else's game. Unfortunately, many people do allow themselves to be taken advantage of. They are afraid to stand up for themselves just because they don't want to rock the boat. They would rather suffer in silence than confront the person who is taking advantage of them. This is especially true at work, where people are often afraid to speak up for fear of losing their job. Many alpha males also allow themselves to be taken advantage of just to climb the corporate ladder. They are willing to submit to the dominance hierarchy just for the sake of power and prestige. The Sigma man chooses to live outside of the hierarchy. They are not concerned with power or prestige and would rather be free than be chained to a job they hate. 6. They don't care what people think of them. What others think of you is none of your business. You are not responsible for other people's opinions of you. Sigma males are not concerned with what other people think of them. People-pleasing is a form of codependency. We try to control how others see us, and we base our self-worth on their approval. This leads to a lot of anxiety and stress. We become afraid to make mistakes or take risks because we don't want to damage our reputation. Many people live in a constant state of worry, always trying to please others and conform to their expectations. But this is not the Sigma way. Sigmas are not afraid to be different. They embrace their uniqueness and are comfortable with who they are. They live their lives according to their own standards and values, and they don't let others dictate how they should live. While respecting other people's opinions is important, you should never allow them to control your life. You are the only one who knows what's best for you. People will always throw stones in your path. What will happen depends on what you make out of it, a wall or a bridge, so cheer up and move on. 7. They don't compare themselves to others. Constantly comparing yourself to others is a recipe for misery. It leads to jealousy, resentment, and feelings of inferiority. We focus on what we don't have, instead of being grateful for what we do have. This way of thinking is especially harmful when it comes to success. We see other people's success as a threat, instead of something to aspire to. We often wonder, why them and not me? I'm just as good as they are. Comparing ourselves to others is a never-ending cycle. There will always be someone who is more successful than you, no matter how successful you become. And the more successful you become, the more people will compare themselves to you. It's a lose-lose situation. Sigma knows that comparing himself to others is a waste of time. He is content with his identity and doesn't need to prove himself to anyone. Everyone is on their own journey, and success is relative. What might be a success for him might not be a success for someone else. When you compare yourself to others, you are only setting yourself up for disappointment. Instead of comparing yourself to others, focus on being the best that you can be. Focus on your own journey and don't worry about what everyone else is doing. The only person you should compare yourself to is the person you were yesterday. As long as you are making progress, you are on the right track. 8. They don't talk down to someone. Being arrogant and talking down to others not only makes you look bad, but it also makes you feel bad. Arrogance is a form of insecurity. It's a way of masking your own insecurities by putting others down. It's a big difference between being confident and being arrogant. Confidence is based on actual achievement, while arrogance is based on the false belief that you are better than others. The Sigma male is confident, but he never talks down to others. Everyone is equal, and no one is better than anyone else. He treats everyone with respect regardless of their social status or achievements. When talking to someone, Sigma is always aware of their body language and tone of voice. He knows that how you say something is just as important as what you say. He never raises his voice or talks over others. Doing so would only make him look like a bully. People often mistake the Sigma male's confidence for arrogance, but that couldn't be further from the truth. The Sigma is confident because he knows his own worth. He doesn't need to put others down to feel good about himself. 9. They don't interrupt other people. Interrupting others is a sign of disrespect. It shows that you don't value what the other person has to say. The Sigma male always lets others speak without interruption. Everyone has something valuable to say, and he wants to hear it. Interrupting others makes you look rude and immature, which is the last thing the Sigma man wants. We are so focused on ourselves that we don't take the time to listen to what others have to say. We think our opinion is the only one that matters, so we start acting like we are the only ones in the room. The Sigma believes that this kind of thinking is harmful to both himself and others. By interrupting others, we not only disrespect them, but also miss out on hearing something valuable. You never know what you might learn from someone if you just take the time to listen. While alpha males often interrupt others to prove their dominance, the Sigma male knows there is no need for dominance. Just because he has something to say doesn't mean he needs to say it right away. They take mental notes of what they want to say and wait for the appropriate time to speak. Women love this because it shows that they are truly interested in what they have to say and feel respected. 10. They never seek praise for doing the right thing. Life is not a popularity contest. Sigma males do the right thing without being asked and with no expectations. They do it because it's right, not because they want recognition or praise. The Sigma man is an excellent role model for others. He never seeks approval or validation from anyone. He leads by example and never asks for anything in return. While alpha males often need praise and recognition to feel good about themselves, the Sigma is content with doing good simply because it is the right thing to do. He knows that his actions speak louder than words, and the only approval he needs is from himself. Sigmas prefer the sharpest criticism of a single intelligent man to the thoughtless approval of the masses. When alpha men start out to do something creative, especially if it seems a little unusual, they seek approval, often from those least inclined to give it. But a creative life cannot be sustained by approval, any more than it can be destroyed by criticism. 11. They never complain or make excuses. When you complain, you make yourself a victim. Leave the situation, change the situation, or accept it. All else is madness. The Sigma male is a doer, not a complainer. He never makes excuses for his actions or blames others for his problems. He knows that if he wants something done, he has to do it himself. Complaining never makes anything better. Making excuses is a sign of weakness and a lack of responsibility. It shows that you are not in control of your life, and you are not willing to take responsibility for your actions. Sigma male always ensures he never puts himself in a position where he has to make excuses. One of the most unattractive things about a person is when they are always complaining or making excuses. It's really off-putting, and it makes the other person feel uncomfortable. Women never want to be with a man who is always complaining. Not only women, but everyone in general. No one wants to be around someone who is always negative and brings them down.